The FIA European Rally Championship is heading into uncharted territory with an all-new challenge awaiting us in Portugal with the Rally Fafe Montelongo Round 3 of the ERC. And we're in Portugal for the third stop in our new look calendar with the rally headquarters based in Fafe, 3 hours north of the capital of Lisbon. There are 3 events still to come, with the season ending up in December with another brand new event and the hotly anticipated Rally Spa in Belgium. Before that, it's tarmac time here in Portugal. First on the menu, this is what happened on the season so far this year. And in July, we were in Italy. Round 1 was in Roma, where the baptism of fire for local favourite Andrea Cronola, who crashed on day number 1. Oliver Solberg fared better on his first tarmac rally in the Polo R5, finishing 3rd overall. But it was Gian Domenico Basso who gave the home crowd something to smile about as he finished 2nd on his home soil. Meanwhile, Alexei Lukanuki was the Russian rocket who took top honours in Rome, winning the 10th ERC rally for him in his career. Next up, we went north and onto the dust, and it was Latvia. Round 2, Lukanuk couldn't repeat his victory, but he did get onto the podium after a very slow start. Mads Osberg was 2nd overall. He headed up in front of the Russian, using the event to test his car ahead of a rally in Estonia a few weeks later. But there was no stopping Oliver Solberg from taking his 2nd ever ERC win. The Swedish driver finished 20 seconds ahead of everybody else. In the championship standings, Lukanuk's out on top, 4 points ahead of Solberg. Craig Breen is a further 26 points adrift. There's all still to play for here in Portugal. But it may be a brand new event, but some things haven't changed. Safety continues to be the #1 priority, with face masks, social distancing and strict hygiene measures still in place with the battle against coronavirus. And the Portuguese stages promises to be a tough challenge, with everyone starting from zero for this all-new event.
It's nice to come to a rally where everyone has no experience, and the main challenges will probably be because the weather is changing all the time, and it's quite smooth tarmac, and also it could be muddy on places. So I think it will be important with tire choice, and also try to know what to expect on the stages, because it can be damp, wet, dry. You don't know.
Should be quite interesting. The roads are pretty exciting, I would say. We don't know how to play with the tires, because the weather will be quite inconsistent, and the tarmac here is quite abrasive, so we need to develop very good strategy to be effective.
The stages, especially first day, is fast, and in the second day it start to be more narrow, with more slow sections. So I think it's quite difficult and quite different the first day from the second day.
There are 3 loops of 3 stages every day. I think the first loop will be the most important, where you will have to create the gap, and afterwards, with the experience and the knowledge of the stage, the gap will become closer. So the first loop will be the most important.
So there's plenty to get to grips with this tricky tarmac of Portugal, and plenty of competition on stages as 2-time French champion Johan Bernardo makes his debut appearance on the ERC.
The French Championship is especially on tarmac, so that's why we are better on tarmac. But yeah, we expect a good result here. It's the first time for us in the ERC, so we expect to have a very good result. So the special stages are very tricky, fast section, not easy at all, but we try to do our best. The main challenge is to be on the finish line without puncture, I think, and without mistake.
And with his lead of only 4 points in the championship standings, Alexei Lukanuk made the most of some pre-event testing time to refine the setup and tyre options for this weekend in his Citroën. Tyre choice could make all the difference with the changeable weather forecast here in Portugal.
One plus. Into lip, 2 left.
But in shakedown preparations didn't go quite so well for the championship rival Oliver Solberg as he crashed, damaging his Volkswagen Polo and facing the possibility of an early flight home.
Okay, unfortunately we did a mistake here on shakedown. Hopefully the car is okay. We were a bit unlucky that it ripped off the whole car on the back, but roll cage looks okay, so hopefully it's fine.
The Polo would need to be taken back to the service park and inspected by rally officials before the 19-year-old could continue in Portugal. But before the first stage, and one of our championship hopefuls has shown just how tricky the rally can be here. Plenty more drama guaranteed at the Rally Fafe, in a region famous for its rallying heritage. So 9 stages lie ahead on Saturday, comprising of a loop of 3 stages repeated 3 times during the day, a total of 95.79 kilometres of competitive action. And one man fortunate to be making the start line is Oliver Solberg, whose mechanics worked through the night tirelessly to repair the Volkswagen Polo.
So now we've been actually working the whole night, so total time so far is 13 hours and 7 minutes.
And a very long night for the boys. They've been pushing hard.
A very long night. Quite the boys have been pushing very hard, but they have somehow managed. It's the best guys in the world, so big thank you.
So Solberg finally manages to leave the service park and head to stage number 1 after completing the night shift for him. The Solbergs high-fiving all round as Alexei Lukanuk is into the stage. First into the stage as he's championship leader here, and in the tricky conditions he was on wet tyres in the morning loop. Lukanuk switching to slicks in the afternoon. Remember, it's the beginning of October. And with the rain lashing off the Atlantic Ocean overnight, Portugal exposed to the elements. The changing conditions were never easy, but the Russian won 5 of the 6 stages early on in the day, leading the rally by 18.3 seconds.
Yeah, it's getting hot. Actually, the stage is almost, it's completely dry. So, yeah, good drive, I think. Still careful in places, but we're building the gap and trying to manage.
If Lukanuk seemed to be making the correct tyre choice, the same wasn't true for his championship rival Oliver Solberg. The young Swede was on wet tyres for both loops of stages that seemed to cost him in the afternoon, and he lost 20 seconds as a result of not having the right tyres. Solberg ended stage 6th in 4th position overall. Not what he wanted after a disastrous start to the rally.
Hey, it's full dry and I have rain tires. Okay, it started to rain earlier and it was wet on many places where I gained time, but on the rest where it's dry you lose way too much time. So not the perfect loop. I went the wrong tire choice basically.
And continuing his role developing the MRF tyres for his team, Craig Breen could be very happy with his start of the day so far. Co-driven by Paul Nagel, the Irishman was upset when he learned the passing of John Champion, a man who has supported him throughout much of his career, who passed away on day number 1 of the rally. However, his drive was the perfect tribute as he took the first stage win for his team on stage number 4. Finnish Rally Championship contender had a nightmare start to the rally after damaging his car in stage number 2. Then he crashed on stage number 3 and had to retire from the day. Running behind Lindholm on the road was Efren Lorena, passing the Finns' stricken car on stage number 3. The 2018 ERC3 Junior Champion was on a mix of wet and slicked tyres. For the afternoon loop, he tested before the event, but nothing can quite prepare him for mixed conditions like this. Lorena ended up in after stage 6 in 6th overall. As for Spain's Evan Ares, driving the Hyundai i20, the multiple Spanish rally champion started in 16th position on the road, making it difficult with the dirt being pulled out after the limited cuts, just bringing a little bit of gravel into the stage by the cars ahead of him in there. He was 2nd overall in the rally after stage 5 until Craig Breen pushed him back to 3rd, but a great performance for the Spaniard. As for Johan Bernardo, the Frenchman on his first ERC event showed speed from the start. Running 13th on the road, he faced the same problems with Ares, dirt on the road from the other cars. After stage 6, the Frenchman was 5th overall in those tricky conditions. 6 stages down, and it looks like this on the leaderboard. Lukanek out in front, Breen 2nd by 18.3 seconds. Evan Ares in the Hyundai is in 3rd overall. Coming up, join us after the break to see what happens. So with 3 stages remaining on Saturday afternoon at Rally Fafe, tyres are again the talking point, and the unpredictable weather also. Some drivers decided to spy on their competitors to look for some blue sky as well, to see who was going to have the right choice. But this weekend sees the return to international rallying for the Alpine A110. This new model will be competing in the ERC2 category this weekend in the hands of Zelindo Meligari, and the car looks absolutely beautiful.
There is a big history on Alpine, you know. I've done only 20 kilometers of tests on dry tarmac. The road was very tricky, very narrow, a lot of jump. The little test I have done, it's easy to use.
And 50 years ago, this car, its predecessor, made its mark in winning the 1970 European Rally Championship before achieving legendary status when it clinched the title in the inaugural WRC season. The car looked great back then, but the new evolution of it looks absolutely beautiful today. Great to see the Alpine back on the ERC. And then when the action got underway, Zelindo Meligari in the Alpine looked pretty quick. However, it all came to a sticky end far too soon as he crashed on stage 6. And he's sure the car will be right for the future when they pull it out of the trees anyway. In ERC2, Dmitry Viofanov was in the battle in the Mitsubishis, was pushing hard and finding the stages harder and harder in the challenging conditions. Tibor Erdi, however, was controlling the rally from the front. The Hungarian driver was quite comfortable as always inside the big Mitsubishi in the mixed conditions. He was first in all the stages in ERC2.
We are very happy. He managed the all day. Good tire choice. It's a fantastic day.
All good for Tibor, but in ERC3 it's always close to the top, and it's no different here in Fafe. The two-wheel drive machinery got underway with Mario Castro from Portugal. The local driver was running 5th in his Fiesta, battling hard for a 4th place against Amory Moll to gain the upper hand on the first 2 stages. Not so bad for him. However, Amory Moll started the day with brake fluid issues, but the first service it was all fixed and he had the edge over Castro. As for Pedro Almeida from Portugal, driving a 208 Peugeot, the older version of the car, the Portuguese driver had been keeping a consistent pace throughout the day to stay in 3rd position overall. He wasn't out of touch with his leaders at the top either. And it was close in front for Ken Torn from Estonia. He was the early leader, but he started to slip back as the conditions changed during the day, struggling with his tyres.
It's definitely not perfect driving, but yeah, let's see. I am happy we are here, and I think it's most important.
For Staines' Joseph Bassas, close to his home, he's just kept improving all day long despite the conditions. But he knows that Thorn is close behind him.
Very difficult with the rain, but yeah, we will try to find the pace. Let's see tomorrow and keep pushing.
Back to the action, and the Premier Class, Club Class, in front of the pack. And 3 stages left to go in the final loop. Mixed weather forecast as usual this afternoon, so the action could get interesting on the final 32 kilometres of competitive action. Let's see how Norbert Herzig gets on. Have a look at him. Despite the difficult time with the tyre choice, Norby Herzig, a regular on the ERC, finishes in 6th position overall at the end of day number 1. From Poland with love, a little bit of Miko Marczek time for him. Ended the day in 7th overall and 3rd in the ERC1 junior category. Miko's improving all the time on this surface that he knows well. The German driver Dominik Dinkel made a mistake in stage number 8, pushing a tyre off his rim, but Dinkel finished a very respectable 8th position overall at the end of day number 1. And at the end of the stage you could see the coded safe time card process with no contract between the marshal and the co-drivers here. The new way to keep the drivers safe and keep them sealed inside their machines and away from the pandemic. As for Oliver Solberg lying 4th, coming into the final loop of stages, Solberg's luck was about to run out. The young Swede nearly didn't make the start of the rally after crashing in shakedown, and in stage number 8, his turbo broke. He dropped more than 15 minutes crawling the Polo through the stages and stopping in the final stage to refill it with oil at the end of the day. But eventually he made it to the end of the stage and back to the service park. Hemorrhaging time, his rally is more or less over and done with. Being behind Solberg on the road was 2nd place Craig Breen, the Irishman and 5-time ERC event winner. But this wouldn't be his 6th time he wins here. In stage number 8,
right plus for 40 clip,
some oil on the stage, ripping his wheel off on the Hyundai on a right-hander, ending his charge to the podium.
And 1 run apart from the finish, and tight 2 left, and 3 out short, tightens, neat, 30, right and 3 left plus, short, opens, and the keep left over long flat crest.
Disappointing end to the day for Breen.
Towards the end of the stage we came on quite a slow right-hander in the forest, and yeah, the grip was suddenly much less than what they expected, and it was only just afterwards we realised that there was some oil on the road, so yeah, not so much that we can do about that. Unfortunate, because I think the stage was going really, really well. I think we could have got ourselves back up into 2nd, but yeah, it's life, unfortunately.
So that's Craig's day done. Gregor Munster was one of those to benefit from the problems ahead of him on the stage, despite slowing to pass Oliver Solberg on stage number 8. The Luxembourg driver was promoted to 4th overall and now leads the ERC1 junior category. Switching on board with Johan Bonato in the Citroën C3 R5, ahead of Munster on the road. The 2-time French champion was doing well. In 5th position after 6 stages, his rain tyre seemed to be a good choice for the final 3 stages as he climbed up the leaderboard.
Droite en 40 plus plus, fini en ciel pour 20 mètres, droite en 40 plus, frein pour 30 mètres, gauche ferme, après route 140 moins.
Johan Bonato ended Saturday in 3rd position overall, firmly in the fight here in Fafe. Just 0.4 of a second ahead of Bernardo. In second place overall in the rally was the Spaniard Evan Ares. He overtook Breen in stage number 7 before his problems, so he claimed the second position and take that merit on Saturday afternoon. But it was all good for Alexei Lukyanuk at the top of the field and ending leg number 1. Dominating day number 1 was Alexei Lukyanuk. The Russian was unhappy with the weather reports he'd been receiving from the service park. He was using those weather reports to determine his tyre choice of the afternoon. So having a bit of duff information, he still dominated all the way to the end. He wraps up day number 1 after 9 stages, more than 38 seconds ahead of his rivals. Coasting it home at the end of the day for Lukyanuk.
Yeah, it looks like we built some gap and we try to control it. So reasonable pace, no moments, no drama. Really happy that this day is finished for us in a positive way. Thanks to the team, to the Pirelli. It looks like all in all it was not so bad, despite we were struggling a lot during the loops. But okay, crazy experience and positive feeling.
So back at the service park, Oliver Solberg made a dramatic entrance with his troublesome turbo. Looks pretty cool, that, but doesn't sound so good.
Yeah, it was quite action-filled 24 hours, definitely. No, some turbo issue and so on, so it just all oil out and just losing all pressure and that's it. Yeah, it's fixable, and we're changing it now, and hopefully it will work for tomorrow. But it's fixable, no problem. And the turbo change is the smallest thing they had to do the last 24 hours. So I think it's okay for them.
So what will he do tomorrow then? See if he can bend it, smash it, crash it, and get the team to put it back together again for him. The leaderboard looks like this at the end of 9 stages. Lukyanuk out in front. Evan Ares is in second. Johan Bernardo in third position overall. Leading ERC1 juniors is Gregoire Munster out in top. Join us after the break as we conclude the rally here in Fafe. Round 3 of the championship. The Sunday stages are coming up with 9 more to go. After a drama-filled first leg here in Fafe, we're all set for some more hot ERC action for day number 2. So on the final day, there's no chance to stop and admire the beautiful scenery here in Fafe, and there's serious business to do at the top. We've got some rallying to do. And this is the way it looks today. The map for day number 2. 3 stages repeated 3 times during the day. We call it the cloverleaf format. Round in a circle, back to the service park, back out to do it all again, before repeating the stages in the afternoon for the 3rd time. Lying in second in the championship, it's Oliver Solberg, and his mission in Portugal is not to throw it off the road or break the car again. And he's in a fight with Alexei Lukyanuk for the title lead, but turbo problems on day number 1 stopped all that. And on Sunday morning, he received a time penalty for leaving service park late after those overnight repairs. Not going too well for him this weekend for Solberg. The final day is just about gaining more experience behind the wheel. And with 2 stage wins, he shows how to do that.
After the troubles yesterday, we just wanted to fix the car and try some new things today and just get the car prepared properly. And okay, now it doesn't matter if we get any time penalties, so just try to get the car proper done. And this morning is just to try new setups and learning more and more.
And Craig Breen came unstuck in the same stage as Solberg yesterday, stage number 8, when he hit a patch of oil and left in the stage by a national rally car, losing his wheel. Now 11 minutes off the lead. His chance of a podium are definitely over, but he continues to work on developing the tyres for the MRF team here in Portugal. It's great to see MRF joining the championship, and they're taking vital data collected from the Hyundai car of Breen back to India so they can develop the tyres for the future. Breen's not the most challenging rally for him in terms of tyre choice, but it's been a perfect place to do all that research and development. The Polish champion Miko Marczek was 6th after a very challenging first day in Portugal. The weather again was making tyre choice difficult on day number 2, but he chose to mix rain tyres with slick tyres for the best compromise. On stage 15, he overtook Norbert Herzig into 5th position overall in the rally. After Solberg's early exit on leg number 1, Gregoire Munster inherited the lead of the ERC1 junior class for drivers under 28 years old. The young driver from Luxembourg took a mix of slick and wet tyres into the stage to keep a steady pace in the challenging conditions. After the first 6 stages in Sunday, he was 4th overall. What was really interesting in Sunday's stages were that the drivers were choosing to put a choice of different tyres on different corners of the car. Some were putting a rain tyre on the front left and a slick tyre on the front right, and then a rain tyre on the rear right and a slick tyre on the front left, using a crisscross pattern to try and get the car to stick to the road. Johan Bonato knows how to do this well. The double French champion's done it before, and he was finding confidence in the stages as he won the first stage of the day and moved up to 2nd overall. But his rain tyres didn't seem to work that well in some of the stages later on in the loop as the conditions dried out and he dropped down a position. He had a couple of moments in the stage and ended up in 3rd position after stage number 15.
Sur gauche à fond, droite 130, plus, bref, pas corde, rail gravier. Sur gauche à fond, il finit en ciel tenir. 50 mètres, gauche 130.
It was very slippery on this one, so I was not very confident with the car, and I tried to drive safe to be on the finish line. We will see on the next one.
Avan Aris was the man locked in the battle with Bernardo for most of the day. The Spaniard's wet and slick tyre combination seemed to work quite well for him and his rivals. After a win on the final stage, he pulled ahead of the Frenchman by 6.8 seconds and was in 2nd position and appeared happy with the work that he'd done. This new evolution of the Hyundai i20 looks pretty good.
The feeling now is good, but the time is more or less with Bonato. Good.
Yeah, he's happy with himself, isn't he? Alexei Lukanuk is also happy, but having brought the lead of 38 seconds into leg number 2, Lukanuk had no need to push on Sunday's stages. Instead, he could just manage that lead and avoid any silly mistakes. The Russian driver is facing a fight to compete in the ERC campaign for the rest of this season, but a win here in Portugal would certainly help him find funding as we carry on to the final 3 stages of the year. However, not even Alexei Lukanuk was immune to the tyre choice issues, despite winning 2 of the stages in the loop.
Alexei having a good study of the times, everything all under control still?
Yeah, I enjoyed my driving, but actually the tyre choice was not correct here, so I lost a lot.
So the leaderboard looks like this. 3 stages remaining. Lukanuk His lead has been cut to a healthy 20.3 seconds. Behind him, the gap from Ares to Bonato in third is just 6.8 seconds. Coming up after the break, we'll be back with some more thrilling high-speed drama from the tarmac stages of Rally Fafe Montelongo. And welcome back to Rally Fafe here in the hills west of Porto, the biblical home of rallying in Portugal. And the weather has made one of the most challenging rallies of the year. And so far, we've got a few stages to go. It's not over yet. But ERC2 has been hotly contested here in Portugal. Celindo Meligari, things didn't go to plan for him on day number 1 as the debut of the new Alpine, when he crashed out early in the rally on stage number 6. The team managed to repair the car, so today it was all about finishing the rally and getting some vital points for the ERC2 Championship. As for Roberto Gobbin, the Italian driver in the Arbath 124, main beneficiary of Meligari's problems yesterday, allowing him to move up the order to 4th place overall. Andrea Mabellini, however, it was the best Fiat pulling a comfortable gap over the Italian rivals. He was fastest on stage number 2. And in the Mitsubishi, it was Dmitry Viofanov, the Russian driver with a Latvian driving license, was enjoying himself today, was managing his pace, not pushing too hard, not making any silly mistakes, consistently running second. And as for Tibor Erdi Jr., there was a very different class here in Fafe. He kept calm and crushed his opposition, winning 16 out of the 18 stages in the rally.
We are very, very happy and have a many point and go to the champion. We are very, very happy.
And with that victory, it means Erdi is now joint leader with Celindo Meligari in the ERC2 standings, with 3 rallies left to go this season. Okay, let's check in with the ERC3 contenders in the 2-wheel drive class now. The battle is picking up. So Mario Castro didn't start well for the local driver. He had a puncture on stage 11 which cost him time, but he fought back to hold on to 5th place overall. Amory Mole was fighting with brake issues and in 4th place. They stopped to check them but forgot to lock the bonnet pins properly. On stage 14, the bonnet flew up, smashed the windscreen. Not so good for him, forcing the team to sort it all out before heading into the final stages. As for the Portuguese driver, Pedro was running well, but unable to match the pace of the top 2 drivers in the ERC3 class, but close enough to pick up the pieces if anything happened. Up in front of him was Ken Torn from Estonia. The fight for the lead was as close as possible today. Ken and Joseph Bassas were trading stage wins, neither able to break away from the other for a very long. But despite the Estonians' best efforts, Bassas held the lead. And here he is. Spanish driver Bassas had the fight and was in control of the class. All the way under the relentless pressure from Ken Torn, but he held his nerve to claim his first victory in ERC3. Crossing the line after 18 stages, it was great to see him win.
It's been an awesome weekend. We tried our best. We suffered a lot. We had some problems with the engine, but it's awesome. This guy is an incredible guy.
In the championship, second place for Ken Thorne meant he earned some valuable points in the championship. However, this weekend it was all about the Spaniard Joseph Bassas with his superb victory. Thorne leads the championship. He has 111 points after 3 rallies of the season. So with 3 more stages left to go for the big guns at the top, this is what lay ahead in the final loop of 3 stages and a total of 28.5 kilometers to go on the tricky tarmac stages. And Dominic Dinkel faced a tough challenge, settling in with a new co-driver this weekend, but he still managed to finish 8th overall and his best ever ERC victory. Eric Sykes ahead of him overtook the German on stage 16 for 7th position overall. It seemed all well for them.
Just looking at Jędrzejczyka's finger, just explain what you did to her yesterday.
She put the wheel to the back and the wheel hit the finger, so yeah, she's strong and good, so she's like nothing.
Well, the championship hopes were dealt a blow this weekend. Oliver Solberg still leads the ERC1 Junior Championship for the drivers under the age of 28. The prize at the end of the season is €100,000, which could go some way to thank his mechanics for putting him back on the road after his crash during shakedown. Solberg completes in Portugal.
After what happened on Friday, we just have to be happy we are here. So my team has done a fantastic job. I don't think anybody in the world have done that before, so it's been just incredible. When I woke up Saturday morning and the car was ready to go, I've never been so happy. So it's been a fantastic and challenging weekend, but great fun in the same way.
For the afternoon stages, Miko Malczek was one of the drivers to take a mix of wet and dry tyres at the same time. Bit of a crazy choice. The Polish champion said it was the best setup of his career, as he grew in confidence over the weekend and finishing in Portugal 5th overall. Impressive win for Miko. Gregoire Munster ahead of him. The son of 4-time ERC event winner Bernard Munster. He did his father proud this weekend.
Gauche 23, droite 28 moins dur pour tenir et piège, gauche 35 dur pour.
His 4th position was a career high in ERC and enough to see him take the win in the ERC1 junior category.
Really demanding rally, changing condition. Just like now, we started no rain in the middle of it. It started to rain heavily, so yeah, really tricky condition, but we learned a lot and we did a really good rally, consistent, and this loop we really managed and did not take any risk to secure this win.
10, derecha 9 en ras y sigue la derecha 8, no, 30.
In the earlier Sunday stages, the battle for second had been raging hard on stage. Ares' tyre choice seemed to give him the edge in the morning as he took 2nd position from Johan Bonato. But in the penultimate stage, he lost it again. It was Bonato who finally took the 2nd position in a nail-biting fight that lasted to the very last stage.
Il ouvre. Gauche à fond, il ouvre et droite 140, il est pas corde à fond. Sur gaucher pour 80 mètres étoile. Droite 120 bon plus, il est long.
The Frenchman hit a barrier in the final stage and looked to have lost it, but he finally beat Ares by 0.1 of a second.
Sur droite 130 moins.
It was an incredible debut for the ERC for him. The 2-time French champion had a fantastic start to his assault on the FIA European Rally Championship.
For us it's a very good weekend, and for the team as well. On the last one, I tried to push very hard. I touched the protection on the left and then with this I can go faster. Because if you are too fast on the special stage, on the turn you have to push a little bit the protection and then you go and get on the road.
Coming into the final 3 stages, Alexei Lukanuk held on for more than 20 seconds. It looked like that win was pretty good and in the bag almost, looked certain. But that didn't remain the case for Lukanuk. On the penultimate stage, the Russian span. Dropping his lead in the process. Pointed the car in the right direction. At the end of the final stage, his lead was slashed to just 3.8 seconds over Johan Bonato. But he managed to push and take a win by 4.6 seconds overall. A year when he was struggling to find funding to complete in his championship, this was a much-needed victory for the Russian rocket.
Looks like you won. Dimitri. Calculations have been done here. Keep out of the way. Calculations have been done.
A rally run behind closed doors. Very, very few.
I tried to control the pace and it was on the right way before that spin actually, so yeah, but we did a good job on the last one, despite we had a massive rain straight away from the start line. But I gave it almost all, and to our sponsors, of course, we hope we will get more sponsorship for next events, because we are in trouble at the moment. So yeah, let's go have some fun now.
After 18 tough tarmac stages, Alexei Lukanuk is the winner in Fafe Montelongo. Winner ahead of Johan Bonato and Evan Aris. Munster is his best ever ERC finish in 4th overall, and Norbert Herzig with 6th ahead of Eric Sykes. Callan Devine, he rounded out the top 10. As for the championship standings, it looks like this. Here they are. Lukanuk out in front, 108 points. Oliver Solberg with 66 is looking good for Lukanuk at the moment, right in front with 3 rallies to go. Hopefully he can find the funding. And on an October evening, in the damp and in the cold, a soft podium as we call it, where the drivers help themselves to the champagne and the trophies. Social distancing at its finest in the centre of Fafe. That's it for us here on the ERC in Portugal. Next up, it's Hungary. We're heading there on the 6th of November for round 4 of the FIA European Rally Championship. More tarmac awaits for us as we head to round 4 of the FIA ERC. From all of us at the programme, thank you for watching. Keep it locked onto the social media channels between now and then and stay up to date with everything from the ERC. We'll see you in Hungary in a few weeks.